Hello, 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 and hello, everybody.
Hello.
Back on the Talks
Hello.
Today's Relationship Show.
Welcome back.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back.
I used to love that. I love that show.
Yeah.
You remember that? Welcome back, Carter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome back.
See, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We're going to have to do a show. All old 70s shows. Oh, my goodness. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We take it all the way back.
Yeah.
We're going to spend the whole month.
No, not the whole
We're going to spend the whole month. Take it back.
Okay. I don't know. Okay. We'll think about that.
Take back month.
Take back month. Okay. Go back.
All right.
Back. Okay.
All right. There's a whole lot of stuff we can talk about. All right. We got everybody up in here tonight.
Hey, Miss Mimi.
Wow.
Hey, Miss Debbie, what's good?
Girl, how you doing?
I'm wonderful and blessed.
Okay, we got.
How's everybody?
All right. Well, everybody good. We even got the doctor in the house.
Doctor in the house.
Yeah.
The doctor, and I'm gonna need you after we get done, Doc. In a bad way.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Dr. G is in the house.
Yay!
It's definitely good to be back.
Yes,
All
it's
right.
a pleasure to have you back with us.
Okay. So we ready to get into this thing?
Yes, sir.
All right. Just
Yes,
in
sir.
time for the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Here we go. Topic of the day is it just good enough to say that you're thankful? Is it just only good enough to say that you're thankful? I guess I need to open the doors for that.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll open the doors with something like this. That's been postscript. Okay. Have you ever experienced being told from somebody that they were thankful for something that you did for them, and then they turn around and they treat you like dirt or uncaring or disrespectful or unloving? You give them something, they say, "Oh, thank you," but they still trifling. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Or have you yourself or someone other than you ever received a gift but only said thank you because you or them received something that maybe you or them didn't even deserve, and then afterwards they still continue to have a dislike for you, but somebody either gave you the gift, you didn't deserve it because they didn't like you or you didn't like them or whatever, but somebody didn't like somebody,
Right, in the first
but
place.
they gave you something. You say, "Oh, thank you."
Wow.
I still can't stand them. Okay, all right.
That sounds like when they pass that fruitcake around every year.
The fruitcake.
Yes.
Oh my God. Everybody passes, don't know
I know, right? The fruitcake. And you say, "Oh, thank you." And then you hand it off to the... I'm just saying, maybe not.
The fruitcake.
Maybe that's just been my experience. I don't know. Maybe everybody has that. But yes.
I might be guilty of that.
Oh, okay. So it's more than me then.
I took the fruitcake.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want no fruitcake.
I give you a fruitcake last Christmas.
Uh-oh.
You on the show, Doc. You on the show, Doc.
We talk about that.
Yeah, we talk about that backstage. All right. So basically, we're talking about
Are we really?
are you really thankful? And And well, I'm going to bring up some other stuff, just about being thankful a little bit later. But I just kind of want to set the stage, because many folk are just so quick to say they thankful for stuff.
Yeah.
Since we're coming into the Thanksgiving holiday, which is supposed to be about giving thanks. But I don't know how y'all see this thing.
Well, I've experienced people and even myself at some point, and I think we have to really understand, what it is to be thankful. I mean, we have to really understand what it is to earnestly be thankful. And it's been my experience that if you're thankful, you're just that. You're truly thankful. And you don't turn around and put a but with it. I'm thankful, but, I want some more money, or I want a new house, or I want a new car. I'm thankful, but no, it's either you're thankful or you're not thankful.
All right. Okay. You thankful or not? What you got to say, Mimi?
Well, I would say, to answer the question the way you initially put it, is it enough to just be thankful? I'd say no, it's not enough to just be thankful. You've got to live a life of thankful gratitude. We've got to pay it forward.
Right.
Some people often refer to themselves as payback. If I do something for you, you do something for me later. I tend to just pay it forward. And I think that to truly be thankful, you've got to just continually be giving in your life. Continually be giving and thankful. And all that you do is nothing possible. Nothing humanly possible.
In order to be thankful, you got to continue to be giving. Yeah, I think so. Okay. I would agree. In that instance, because if you're giving, and my thing is about giving. If you're giving, then you don't have the time to sit and wonder, about maybe some of the things that you want, some of the things that you don't. And there's nothing wrong with wanting things. That's not what I'm saying. But for the most part, I think about it in the aspect that everything I have, I am thankful for, because I realize that what I have, somebody else may, that may be a need for them, and I have it. And if I don't look at it as if it was a need for me at one point, then you start trying to take that thing for granted, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Miss Debbie, you made a good point, and Miss Mimi, you did too. I think about being thankful sometimes is maybe confused with entitlement, because sometimes we take things for granted.
Yes.
People may say thank you, but they feel entitled.
Yeah.
But like you said, Miss Mimi, if you are thankful, then you're going to keep giving. You may give to the next person. If you're thankful for what someone did for you, then you're going to try to show that appreciation by maybe helping someone else.
Yes.
So,
right.
I that's what I think. And sometimes we get confused with entitlement. And I really, really love this topic.
Yeah.
This time of year, professional relationships, people are getting their bonuses, for doing a good job throughout the year and all of that. Yeah. And you may have the employee that says, oh, thank you. And some employees may say thank you to that boss simply just because they're taught that that's the right thing to do, say thank you. But are they really thankful? Or do they feel, you owe me this?
Right.
Yeah, you owe me this. Yeah, thank you, but you owe me this.
Right. And some more.
Yes,
that's right.
All right.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. You owe me this. That kind of sounds like some what I've heard sometimes in relationships.
Yes.
Because I love you so much. You owe me this. What y'all think about that? Y'all ever seen that kind of attitude?
Unfortunately,
No.
I know it's a women's world up in here, and I'm outnumbered. So
no, unfortunately, I have. Unfortunately,
Yeah. But honestly, I have said that not out of being boisterous or greedy or anything like that, because I know the ability I have I give with. So and I still don't want to sound arrogant when I say that, but I know overall I'm a giver. I'm a giver, and I can say that proudly.
Right.
I don't mind,
right?
Because I know the what comes with that. Not that I'm expecting anything, but that's just a part of it. So I give for that reason, and for the fact that if I say I love you or care about you in any kind of way, and I see that you have a need, and I'm able to meet that need, and I don't, then you might look at me and say, well, really, Debbie, are you the person you say you are?
Right.
Exactly. So and so that's the reason why. I mean, but overall, I love the fact of being able to pay it forward.
Okay.
I do. I love the overall, and it's times where I'm not able to like I would desire, but the mindset and the heart is there to always be able to pay it forward if I can.
So let me ask you a question, Miss Debbie, and Miss Mimi too. When you pay it forward, how do you feel if the person doesn't say or appear thankful?
It was
the person that you're paying it forward to. I don't really concern myself with that because I'm doing it with an open, free, and giving heart. And all you can do is pray that the recipient is going to also receive it with the open and free and giving heart and pay it forward to the next person. You can just pray, the flow just continues. And there's nothing you can do about it if it does or it doesn't. So a lot of times we may pay it forward to a total stranger. At least I do sometimes.
Okay.
Like if someone just gives me a blessing, I'll just bless someone when I'm in a position to. For instance, like I could be at a gas station pumping gas and see there's somebody there struggling to get a few dollars up for gas in it, and just go, pay some gas for them anonymously. And you may see that they're thankful. You never know how they're going to be the moment they pull off. You can just pray that they're going to bless somebody else when they get the opportunity. That's all we can do is hope and pray for that.
Well,
Don't really allow it to impact my continued giving.
Right. And to answer the question, Dr. G, that you put forward, to us, I wish I could say that in the same respect that Mimi said it in, but that has not always been, me. There was a time, when I know I've done something earnestly and genuine and presented it or whatever it is, and the person didn't say thank you or act like, and I'm like, well, who I had that kind of attitude. I have to be honest. But I had to grow, to say, look, if they don't say thank you or act like they appreciate the gesture, then I'm still okay with it. I'm still gonna do.
Okay.
I'm still gonna, but I had to grow, and it took me a minute because I couldn't fathom the fact, because I operate on this. No one is entitled or have to do anything for you. You hear me? So now, if it's done, if a person is doing it, then, it's something there for the reason that they're doing it, is what I'm saying. So now, when I look at it like that, and even though they may not be thinking about it, this is how I'm thinking now, even though they may not be thinking about it like that, I can still say, well, you know what? I did it out of a good heart.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, I tell y'all, Jay has this weird way of thinking. So I see this thing where in relationships that as the question is just saying thank you good enough. where it's almost like saying I love you. You know, because when somebody actually is saying they love you, that's almost in the same context as saying thank you. You know, because when you say I love you, what it should be for is I love you because of who you are. I thank you for because of who you are. I love you because of the things you do. I thank you because you see where I'm going with that. It's almost in the same context as saying thank you when people say I love you.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I never thought about it that way, but hey,
you
I'm
know,
open to new things.
You know, I love you because you did this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's many things we associate the phrase I love you to, but then when you think about it, attach, instead of saying I love you, put the words I thank you. Thank you for whatever it is you said.
Well, they may mean I love you.
Oh.
I
love you because
they know how to
of you.
say I thank you. I thank you because you said this, or I thank you because you did that. But they just might want to say, "Look, I love you."
Oh, okay. I love you. I love you for no reason.
No, I mean it's a reason, of course.
Oh.
Of course, it's a reason.
Oh, it's a reason. A reason. I just love you because you exist.
You're you.
You.
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad I love Jay just because he's just
Because you're you.
because I'm Jay, right?
Why not? Why not?
But
Being thankful though.
yeah, you know, yeah, being thankful because you know, and when people say that, and I've observed, you know, people get gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And we love to say I thank you when we receive something that's to our benefit.
Mm-hmm.
But as the question is saying thank you good enough, because does it really have meaning? Does it have depth? And the only way we really know that is by actions. Because if it's not followed by actions, then to justify and confirm the phrase that was uttered out of your lips, then the words really have no meaning. And it's actually not considered good enough.
So then what I'm hearing you say is that perhaps maybe you adopt the colloquialism, your attitude reflects your gratitude.
Oh, well, that works. Yeah. That does work. Attitude reflect gratitude.
That's good.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
That
good.
really
That's
that
okay.
pretty
That's
much
good.
towards
Your attitude reflects your
the catering
attitude.
what I'm speaking of.
Yeah.
Because you know I use, and you know I can't help, because saying thank you also, it goes, this topic goes in all different directions. You know, not just about getting gifts, not in just couple relationships, saying thank you to each other, appreciation, because thank you is a form of appreciation. It reflects appreciation. So then the question would go to, how well do you really appreciate? And to establish appreciation is established by actions, not by words. You can say all the words you want to, but you know if somebody really appreciates something, or appreciates you, appreciates, you know, things being done or whatever.
Actions.
And it's by action.
Right.
And as you were saying, Doctor, you know, attitude reflects gratitude. But it does, and that's even in couple relationships. You know, if a person really appreciated it, would show in their attitude, in their relationship towards each other. You know, the respect they have for each other. Not just saying, you know, thank you whenever some certain opportunity arises to be able to say thank you for. Not being able to just say I love you just because you have the ability to utter the words I love you, but because of the actions that confirm and justify the words that did utter out of your mouth. Because people can say thank you and I love you and still have a knife sticking out of the back of their pocket.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going to try to use something else besides battered women. Okay, I know we speak on it quite a bit, but that's very strongly happening in this world.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of, and mostly to women, being the victims of that type of domestic abuse. So, and that's one of the reasons I guess I bring it up quite often, because it's so, prevalent in this world. And the statistics is showing a rise more than a going down.
Wow.
We even have domestic violence what is Awareness Day a week.
It's October.
Right, the month of October. And why is that? Because it's something that's happened so widespread. And it's not that it just happened. It has been happening before women's liberation, and it was even bad then before women's liberation. So it didn't stop it. However, women have much more of a voice now. But it goes beyond that, even into the church or religion, as I would rather say it. That people, and I know this may aggravate a few people, but it's true. People go into the religious realm in the sanctuaries and say thank you to the Lord for what He's done. But really, as I said earlier, appreciation. But really, in the appreciation of God, don't reflect the actions that will show that they actually are appreciative.
Yes.
So,
that's right.
So and even scriptures say they worship me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me.
Yes.
And so even God is in His Word is saying, I hear what you're saying, but I see how you acting and what you're doing, and that don't mean hill of beans to me.
Yes.
Right. You're absolutely right.
So
that's true. Yeah, and I'm really glad that we're talking about this topic, on today. Are we really thankful? And Dr. G said something at the beginning of the show. A lot of times, I think we feel like we're entitled. And if you feel like you're entitled, like this is owed to you, you miss the appreciation, the gratitude, the thankfulness. You miss that. True story. I'm going to show this to you after the show is over. I can't show it to you on my phone now. But there was a post on Facebook about a couple of months ago. A young man was on there. He did a post and he was holding up this beautiful ring. When I tell you the ring was absolutely gorgeous, it was absolutely beautiful. Big diamond in the middle, surrounded by, and then the cut of the band was just absolutely gorgeous. And he was talking and he said, well, I was going to propose to my fiance girlfriend with this ring and everything. He was just showing the ring, and the ring, I was just looking at it in awe. And he was just showing the ring. He said, I was going to propose to her with this ring. But she looked at the ring and said that it was a slap in her face. A slap in her face. And I was like, because I'm looking at the ring going, oh my God, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, come on now, ladies, we know. I'm looking at the ring and I'm going, my God, this ring is absolutely. And she said, finger, yes, right? I did.
Yeah, you wanted it on your finger.
I did. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Yes. And he said she told him that that ring was a slap in her face, and I was like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, comments start coming in. Take it and give it to somebody who's more deserving. She don't deserve you. Right. And I'm like, really, lady? What makes you so entitled? Really, what makes you So, and I'm not just talking about women. I mean, if it's a man, what makes you so entitled?
Right.
You know, who are you that you feel like this, that you have this kind of mindset? And I'm like, wow. And see, it's things like that, you know, that we have to really check ourselves on, you know, and I just can't even imagine, not only that, because that was a ring, you know, but I'm like, I can imagine his, you know, demeanor and everything was just crushed from that. I mean, because the ring was nothing skimpy. It was nothing skimpy about that ring. And he done saved up, and it's just a symbol, but it's the fact, really?
It's just a symbol.
Wow,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he was devastated by that.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I was
Sometimes we look more at the material side of things as opposed to what's behind it, what's the meaning, what it represents. And that is sad that we put so much emphasis on what people see, which will be like the size of the stone instead of the size of his love. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The size of the stone, the size of the sky, size of his love. That's true. So true. You know, I mean, and I'm talking about, you know, being grateful. For me, I would have just, I mean, a gold band. I'm just, you know, because it's enough that you care enough about me and love me enough to want to give me a life with you. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the ring is just added. That's extra. That's the way I see it. Okay, now later on, maybe, you know, but right now, you know.
It's all extra.
It's all extra.
All extra.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, you know, but I'm grateful. I'll be thankful.
Right.
Another story, and I love my neighbor. Bless her heart. She just as sweet as she want to be. She always cooks because she loves to cook, and that's fine. And she always wants to bring me food. Okay, but she has about 7 cats. And they don't just like, you know, lay on the couch or the bed or anything. They're up on the counter where the food is being served. They're up on the stove. I'm talking about sitting on the stove, relaxing, chilling. And so
And you was thankful.
but wait a minute. She brings, and I know this. She brings the food down and she said, well, Debbie, I was thinking about you and I cooked this today. And I was like, and I always say, oh, thank you so much, Michelle. I accept it. Forgive me when I'm about to say this. But when she leaves, I dispose of it. I can't. You know, I'm thankful that she thought enough about me. You know, I can say, I don't want that mess. Get it all up out of my face. You got cats running everywhere. That's not
right.
You know. That's, you know, but I accept thank you.
Right.
You accepted it, you said thank you, and then you tried. I guess, you know, that would be the PC thing to do. If you were saying about being PC, yeah, that'd be the PC thing to do. I'm not so soft-spoken, though.
So, if we reject something, would we still be thankful?
I appreciate the thought, because it is about the thought. I mean, I actually had this happened to me this past week. Okay, we had a potluck at my office, and my boss admittedly has 3 dogs and 2 cats in her 2-bedroom apartment that she shares with her daughter. And she brought in some gooey cake she made, and she offered me some. I said, no, thank you. She said, well, I thought you liked gooey cake. I said, yeah, but you have pets in your home, and, you know, I just don't prefer not to eat things that people cook at home and bring into the office, because you don't know how people live in it. And, I mean, yeah, I saw the look on her face, and this is my boss, by the way. But I just keep on it. Keep talking about something with food, and it's about me. So I'm not going to lie to you. But I get why you did. In that scenario, I get why you did. If it was a gift that was specifically for you, then it's about to get a little bit different. But yeah, I get why you did. I just honestly would.
Okay.
No, so they wouldn't do it again. You know, how thank you for the thought. Okay.
Okay.
That didn't mean.
All right.
Is that being mean?
Say that again. Well, I guess what
Everybody got silent on it. That's being mean.
oh well is that being mean?
Yeah, no, we didn't understand you at first.
Right.
I don't think what you, and especially how you presented it, I don't think that was mean at all. I think that it was actually, I love that the way you presented it to her. You thanked her. You were very honest. And so it wasn't mean. It really wasn't.
Yeah, to reject. You know, I find it sometimes that I've rejected some things, and tried to do it in a very loving, kind way. You know, sometimes you could be as loving and kind and tactful about your words, and it still can be still offensive to the person. So, but that's not in your control. You know, if you really are thankful, that's part of being thankful. You can still reject things and still be thankful at the same time. That's one of the questions I had asked a little earlier. Because I'm thankful, as Debbie, as you said, the person, you know, I'll be thankful because of the thought. And I don't have anything against them or anything, but I wouldn't, you know, like try to downsize them or anything by saying, no, I don't want food because you got cats sitting on your top of your stove and all that. But I would probably say it, you know, would have said, you know, I thank you, but I just really can't take any food in because I have all the food. Bless somebody else with it. You know, bless somebody else with it. You know, you know, and you know, I really am thankful that you thought about me.
Yeah.
But you know, there are loving ways you can say things, and there are hurtful ways you can say things.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but you know, being thankful, like you know, we brought up about business entitlements, as you brought up. We've brought up about relationships. We brought up about religion, and even another area. And this might be a little bit comical, but it's true. I did a post just recently that had the difference between white people's Thanksgiving and black people's Thanksgiving.
Oh, don't.
And it was a little comical. I know it was true, but it was a little comical. You know, as it was put, it was profiling. Okay, it was profiling. All right, okay. It was profiling. Okay,
right.
all right, okay.
Right.
However, it was based upon truths.
Yeah.
All right. And standards. All right.
Yes.
I'm not saying
exaggerated.
I'm not saying all white
now,
people.
Come on, the Cheetos.
I'm not
The Cheetos. Now, come on. Now.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
that
the
all
Cheetos.
white people and all black
and
people.
Find it. Oh.
Well, you know, there's some people waiting on the Thanksgiving dinner. They got the hot Cheetos sitting there trying to
wait on the dinner.
Right. That's what you'll find at Thanksgiving dinner. That's where they came from, you know. All right.
Okay.
That's where they came from. What would you find, you know, on Thanksgiving Day, on the during Thanksgiving dinner, and you will find in some people, not all, but you will find something similar. If I had to list everything, y'all
Mimi, have you seen it? Have you seen
No,
it?
I have not.
Oh,
That's
my-
why
oh, my
That's why I'm kind of quiet. No, I haven't seen those.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, girl.
So I'm definitely gonna look at it. Check
Please.
it out.
Well, anyway,
Yes.
I'm just saying that even like on a day like Thanksgiving, you know, and it's just not even Thanksgiving. It's just even each and every day
Yes.
when you have food to come across your table.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and sometimes we say say your thanks, your prayer of thanks before blessing the food, as we say, before eating your meal. How many of us just really doing it routinely, or actually really
Thankful.
sincerely
Yeah.
thankful, or have you taken it for granted? Because when you start beginning to take things for granted, just like in anything else, a relationship, you start taking it for granted. You know, and you say thankful, but really you really have no meaning behind it because you've taken it for granted in a sort of entitlement.
Entitlement, yeah.
I would say unconscious entitlement, because you know it's kind of like the norm. Okay, I know I got food today. I got groceries for a whole month. So let me cook it, say a quick little prayer, and then eat.
Right. Yeah.
So we become common in our functions, and it's more taken for granted than
Yes.
actually more thankful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I think, for the most part, we take, like you said, just about a lot of things for granted. I was doing some studying this weekend, and we were talking about, about like simple thing like water. We can go to our faucets, and I know, Jeff, I'm aware that all what's in water.
I'm gonna talk
Even
about
but
that.
I know it. Okay,
Yeah.
even when you turn the faucet. But
about to
the
talk
point
about that.
I'm making is that we can go to our faucets and turn water on and have water. Where there are some places that's that would be considered a luxury for them.
Right.
And like you said, like with the food, we may not have steak because we want a steak, but we have chicken or a roast or something like that. I don't want that.
Right.
How many times I said that? I don't want none of that. Then get mad because it ain't what's in there. You don't want it, and what you want, you can't get it right now. Whatever the situation is. So we have to really check ourselves when because that does raise the question: are you really thankful? It was a good example. I think this was when I actually learned how to be thankful. Truly say I'm thankful, and that's what it is. Before I moved here, had been living in Detroit since I was 5 years old. Before I left and came back south, I was living in the house. Had been living there for like about 12 years or something like that. The landlord actually lost the house, and so it was basically a ward of the state of Michigan at that time. And the house was just really falling apart. When the landlord had it, I was calling him like every other day, like, you need to get somebody over here to fix this house up. It's a mess. I can't continue to keep patching this house up on my own. I need some help. And so the house was just falling apart, literally. And during the daytime, you could see it from the street, and I used to just look at it and go, ugh. Because it just detests me, that I was living, in a house like this. And no matter how clean I kept it on the inside, on the outside, it was just when I say literally falling apart, it was literally falling apart. And so I grew to hate that house. When I tell you I grew to hate it, I grew to hate it. I hated that house. And it was like the longer I said that, the more I said it, the longer I was there. I was like, why can't I leave this house? And so it wasn't until I had to learn the lesson to be thankful. And I'm like, how can I be thankful for this? How can I be thankful for living in a house like this? But the lesson was for me to understand that there are some people that the house ended up being condemned. but the fact that I had a roof over my head,
Right.
it was deeper than that. It was deeper. It wasn't about the house. I had to learn the lesson. And so once it came on like a light bulb one day, like, okay, Debbie, I'm going to have to appreciate this house. Okay, as hard as it was, I had to learn how to appreciate that house, respect that house. I mean, truly be thankful for the house. Now, if y'all saw this house, you'd be like, oh my God. I mean, and that's just how it was. But for me to go from pure hate to love, imagine that. And that's even with a relationship.
Right.
You know, apply that to anything. And when I went from hating that house to truly appreciating that house and loving that house, this is, I mean, honest to God, trip. The next house I got on that block was the best looking house in that block. The house looked so good. I had neighbors that had been living on that block for so long was actually mad and was, how can she go from living in the worst looking house to the best looking house on the block? Okay, so I'm talking about appreciation, and only we, you know, we know what our story is. We know how, where we are in our appreciation level and scale. So for me, that's when I learned. That's when I learned the lesson. So can I truly say that I'm thankful? I'm thankful. If you give me a pencil right now, thank you, doctor, for that pencil.
Right.
I mean, that's just me. I mean, but now everybody's got their own story.
Right.
But if you take that pencil and write a check for me, I'll be thankful for you.
Okay.
I'm very, very appreciative.
Right.
Well, I can tell you, I'm going to give you a thankful story, a personal thankful story, where I began to take life for granted, okay? Because here I was, of course, a lot younger than now, which I'm not going to tell my age. I'm still young. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
I take the young challenge test.
Okay.
But yes, in my younger years, I had a moment.
Okay.
Yes, I don't need no tissue like Tito. I don't need no tissue. I know. But anyway, I in my younger years, I took life for granted. Now, I would say I was thankful, but not really. Not really. I was thankful. I had 2 cars. I had a motorcycle. I had a whole bunch of music equipment. I mean, I had a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, and in my younger years, I'm talking about in my like almost middle 20s, I had all this stuff. And then slowly, right before I broke into my right when I broke into my 30s, I wound up having an accident that wound up basically almost costing me my life. It was a miraculous situation. My car went up under Metro bus. Doctor said I would never use my right hand again. That it'd just be limp. Took them 2.5 hours to cut me out of that car. That was all crushed up had me crushed with the engine in my chest from all the way to the back seat with the bus sitting on top of my head. But with all of the possessions that I had that I took for granted in life, I wound up losing in time everything because I couldn't work. I drew my unemployment as long as I could. Before I knew it, the next place I was out on the street. I was homeless. And I'm not talking that homeless that some people say, well, I'm homeless because I'm staying over my aunt's house and I had to move out of my place, and that's not homelessness. That just means you just don't have a place of your own. That's not homelessness. I was actually homeless. I was sleeping in my car. Then my car put me down. Then I was sleeping on the benches, and I was sneaking into church and sleeping. So I was actually homeless. Everything I took for granted that I said I was thankful for, I really realized I really wasn't as thankful for it because I took it for granted. And a lot of times we tend to find out how thankful we are for something after we've lost stuff.
Yes, that's right.
You know, after I was listening to your story,
yes.
after we've lost stuff, and that's what happened to me. That as I was going through my homelessness and lost everything in my life, medals and awards that I had from music when I was in high school and all kinds of other stuff that was in a storage. I lost that because I couldn't pay for it. You know, so they, you know, as the storages do, they sell or auction it off and all that. I lost everything. But you know, when there was a message that came to me in my homelessness that helped me, and I hope this story, just like anything else we've said on this show thus far, can help somebody, because you know, we tend, and back to Doctor, as you said, have this expectation that is owed to us.
Yeah.
That things are owed to us in this life. I also and am going to take a big step out on this, and it's probably going to aggravate some people, and I hope they come to understand this when I say it. I blame a large portion of misunderstanding and catering and molding to this taking for granted of life on religion. The reason I say that on religion, because there are many aspects and faces of religion that tends to teach us or guide us to that and listen how I say this, folks, if we ask for it in Jesus' name, He'll be sure to give it to us. And so we have formed an expectation that just because I asked for it, that it's owed to me, I'm going to get it. Okay? And if I put Jesus' name on it, or put God or some kind of spiritual name on it, it guarantees it. Well, I learned a lesson the hard way by looking at Job. And Job, who probably more spiritual than many folk on the faces are according to the scripture, lost everything himself. Everything. And then I thought about, and I'm speaking to the religious folk on this one, I thought about, who am I to ask and cry about stuff when Jesus himself had nowhere to lay his head but on a rock? So why should I complain about I'm laying on a bench? There was no inn to take him in, and he laid himself on a rock. So if the one that I'm supposedly to be asking for all this was done no better and was in a no better position, then who am I? So I quickly learned to get out of expectation, and whatever happens in my life, I learned to be thankful for, because it could always be worse than what than where I'm at.
Yes, that's right.
And many times we don't even, it's like it's an afterthought more than a pre-thought. We know the statement. Yeah, it's possible that something could happen. Yeah, but we don't really.
We don't know because
it hasn't happened. Really, right?
It hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened.
Yeah,
and we don't really see it. And I say the one of the bad things in life a person could do is deal with it after it happens, rather than prepare yourself for the if
Right.
it happens. Not that you wish for it to happen,
Right. But if
but
it does.
right.
Yeah.
But if it does, you're much better off in going through it than not no preparation.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to like put that out there, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, for me, I've never been homeless. I thank God I've never been homeless. I can truly say that. I have never not had a roof over my head. I don't know what that's like.
Right.
You know, so in saying that, but I don't know if at that point, now that I look back over it, if the state had just come in and said on that particular day, okay, Debbie, we have already, because the house was condemned. It was condemned. You have to leave today. Where would I have went? I would have been homeless.
Right.
But they never did. I stayed there actually for 2.5 years before I moved into my house, and the house was still condemned. But it wasn't, when I got into my new house, I said, God, I realized that this thing could have, because they were sending me letters like every other day saying that they were going to come and bulldoze it. It was demolished. It was not livable.
Right.
And so, and I spent 2.5 years thinking that at any day now, really, that they could come and just demolish it. But by God's grace, and I'm thankful for that. I've never been homeless. I've never been without any food to eat.
Right.
I've never not had any needs met. I've never had, I can honestly say I have never not had a need met.
Right.
For me, that's enough for me to be grateful.
Right.
Now it may be something else for somebody
Someone
else,
right.
but for me,
Right.
I'm grateful.
Right. And for me, the pivotal point in my life was it's a series of events. First of all, my dad died when I was 2 years old, so I never knew my father. And my mother was only 55 when she died from cancer, and I was around 30 years old. And my older brother was only 43 when he died. So having those losses, and when he died, he had come to stay with me for a couple of weeks. We were from Detroit as well, and he'd come to stay with me for a couple of weeks, and I was taking him back home. It was just a beautiful time together. I took him home, and I got on a Greyhound bus. By the time I made it back to Tennessee, he was dead. And at that point in my life, I knew I could not take anything else for granted. So that was the time when it was just a change. Also during that time, I divorced my ex-husband after 20 years of marriage, and it was not 20 good years. I am a survivor of domestic violence, and it was real. I mean, if you could see the vehicle that I was in that he shot up, it's by God's grace and mercy that I'm here, because it was riddled with bullets, but not one bullet pierced me. So I have a lot that I'm thankful for because of the events that have happened in my life. So I don't take anything for granted. And I look at other people and their situations, and I always look at or look for the strengths in a situation and not the negatives, because I know there's typically an underlying story behind a situation. It's typically it's not what you see on the surface. So that's what drives my thankfulness. I don't take anything for granted. And I just had a conversation just 2 days ago sharing with a young lady who suffers from depression. She's clinically diagnosed with depression. And I share with people, and I told her, I said, you see me now, but you don't know my story. And I think if you had to maybe take 5 steps on my life's path, you couldn't survive. Because my journey is not an easy journey. But I've made it, and I'm thankful. So my thankfulness is very sincere. And it's because of His grace and mercy.
All right. You there, Mimi? You there, Mimi?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, I was just taking it all in.
Uh,
Just taking it all in.
well, I would say that many people have a story, but the question is, as the topic is saying, it's just saying thank you good enough, and I guess if we really want to sit down and dissect that whole phrase of that statement, or that question, the answer would actually come out to be no, it's not, because it's not the words that's being said, it's the actions behind it. There has to be a common ground to a judgment or recognition, and that common ground is not words, because if we use just words to affirm, confirm, and adhere to, then we will set a prejudice against those that can't speak words, such as the deaf or the mute, who cannot speak words and utter words. So the common ground that all people can fit in would be actions. And if we paid attention to actions, not just other people, but primarily our own, because that question is really more directed to self more than the other person, because sometimes we can focus on other people so much that we can't see where we stand and where our position is in life. We've talked about relationships. Thank you. People say thank you in relationships, and people, I do say that just pay attention. A lot of times we tend to clarify someone as who they are by the words they say, even though that counts, but not as much as the actions they do. The doctor says that attitude reflects gratitude, okay? Or it should be, attitude should precede gratitude. But many times we find ourselves just listening to words and being stroked and being accepted of words, when words have no value until the action has been put to it. I guess it's in the touching moments of this conversation, of this show. Gosh, we didn't even open up the line for people to call in, 931-220-7063, even though we're towards the end of the show. But I want to extend that out in case somebody want to get it in before we close out. All right.
Mimi, you have any words? just that I'm in agreement with what you just said. That if you are truly thankful, it will reveal itself or show through your continued actions. You know, like I said earlier, you pay it forward to the next person to show your appreciation, or just pay it forward. Period.
Yeah.
It's all in what you do.
Okay. All right. Well, I agree, and I think that's going to be the summary of the show. Is that it's all in what you do, it's all in how you act, it's all what you portray. Whether you speak the words "thank you," some people, I just want to add, some people look for hearing the words saying "thank you," but I'm a firm believer, and I've learned and been convinced. You know, I'm just saying, this is just me. This is what I've recognized. I really don't care if people say the words "thank you." I watch what they do.
Exactly.
I do. I watch what they do. Because that speaks more in direction for me than the things, you know, folks be saying. You didn't. I mean, even though that's good and nice, but I'm saying the most important thing is what that person does. People can say, you didn't tell me I love you this morning. You didn't tell me I love you all week. Well, I'm like, okay, do you see all the things that I'm doing for you? I mean, you know, yeah, I may not have said that, but it's words. Do you see what my heart is saying? I mean, throughout everything and all that, you prefer to cater to the words more than the things that I do, or vice versa. I mean, I know words help, but the pure essence of truth lies in actions more so words. All right.
Yep, I agree 100%.
All right.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah. And if you be about it, then you can talk about it. All right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. All right. We're going to leave out on that note. All right, folks. It's been nice. All right. We're out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, audience.
All right.
Y'all be good.
It's been real. Thanks.
Y'all